Hello, hello, friends. It's me, Cynthia, and Marty, and Azalea. She's behind the counter.
Hi.
And we are Greengirlstudios, and this is our Wednesday edition Magic Hour. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I carve these. I showed the wrong thing. How I carve these frogs and how I carved our masters. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a bird's eye view, or maybe not a bird's eye. Bird's eye is a wrong choice. A view of the carving. I see Debbie Johnson. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Cecilia. Hello, Allison. Hello, hello. Haven't seen you in a minute. Hello, my friends. So, has everyone been keeping cool? Because it's finally the heat index has broken a little bit. Now I know that it's not Tucson, and so I always see folks being like, in Tucson it's 110 degrees, and but in Asheville, we're used to milder temperatures, much because you're in the mountains. You expect it to be a little bit cooler. And today, it was in the upper 80s, which was way better than it was last week. It was like 90 degrees every day. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Morphing Designs. Hello, friends. Thank you all for joining us today. We have some fun things to do. I'm going to show some of my tools, and also my method for carving polymer, and it's pretty fun. I think I've showed it before, but the slight baking is a pretty good way of getting a nice surface so that it's kind of like balsa wood. There are different carving surfaces. I have a box over here that has a new ring that I was playing with, and it's a different type of wax. I'm not going to show that one. I didn't really go over that one, but and I'll start from scratch with that. Like I have this. Let me see. Oh, hello. Marty is watching his sisters fight over who gets the chair. There's a chair over here, and they're staring each other down, arguing who gets the chair. And usually I kick them both off of it because I don't want cat hair on it. But it's kind of a losing battle because there's always cat hair everywhere. But this is the wax I was referring to. This is a type of jeweler's wax that's really hard. Really, when you melt it, it's really stringy, like hot glue, and it's a crazy different kind of experience. It's not like the other usual wax that I use. It has a more, like, the word taffy comes to mind, and it comes in these long tubes that have a hole in the middle, and it's a small hole so that you can get multiple sizes. It starts off as the smallest size hole that is available for an average ring size. Like I think at the smallest size is a size 4. I think, not positive. But it starts off as a very small inner hole, and I just widened this out to make a big ring. And it was fun. I had that going while I was at the Big Crafty, and I save up the shavings so I can melt it again. It's pretty easy to melt, but it's kind of, again, it's real like stretchy when you use it. I was just looking at this going, I have been missing some of these tools, and they're in this box because for some reason I make little crafty kits for myself, and I carry them with me. And this one was one I took to Big Crafty, and I have a few of my favorite tools. So, and files. Didn't notice I had that file in there. That's what happened to that. Oh, our friend Connie. Connie's our neighbor. She lives down the road. When I say the neighbor, I don't mean like actual neighbor, but Asheville neighbor. We occasionally see each other at different shows. It's pretty fun. Let's see what time it is. 4:42. Let's give it a few more minutes to let people get in and join us. So we have another lucky dip, you guys. That's been pretty good. I've made different ones in the last month or so, and it's been pretty good as far as earning money to get our going towards our floor. Now, we have not heard back from the contractor. That was Friday when he came to look. And, we have a few friends that are contractors. They were like, hey, we're super booked. Don't even ask. And we're like, okay, fine. But they were like, since Helene, all the contractors have more than enough work. And so they can kind of pick and choose. And if they don't want to do something and the work that is the underneath our dishwasher leaked. And since it leaked, it went all the way down into the subflooring. So when Greg went to replace a couple of broken tiles, he was like, he was like, I'm so tired of these broken tiles. And so when he lifted the two in front of, there were two broken ones and they were in front of the dishwasher, probably because the floor was all soaked up. And that's when, if you step on it, like underneath it was probably, who knows how long it was leaking. I have no way to know. But when he lifted them up, it exposed all of the horrible truth. And so that was kind of, we were like, great, how long is this going to take to get fixed? I mean, when the contractor came in, they were like, well, it's not as bad as we thought. So that was good news to hear, that they are going to have to rip out all of the countertop. The countertop is made out of chlorine. We did that when we first moved in. So it's like one single piece, and they can move that somehow without breaking it. I don't know how. But the under part, the cabinets, those all have to be ripped out, and the floor. So fortunately, it did not fall through, which I saw from some comments like a few weeks ago, that some people had it come down into their laundry room, and that's where it was. I noticed a spot on the ceiling in the laundry room, and that's where it was coming from, was the dishwasher. So we are putting money away for that. Our air conditioning died. I was like, didn't we just have that replaced? It was actually 8 years ago. So this is not, I guess the problem that happened is not unusual. And we just got that fixed. So that was, well, let's just say that was really relieving, not having, our house was not designed to not have air conditioning. So the airflow in here, I don't know who designed it. It's just not, they were clearly not from Florida. Let's put that. They weren't from Florida. Otherwise, if they were from Florida, they'd known to make it where you could put an attic fan and suction all the hot air out, right out by the roots, and yank it out through the house and out the window. But they didn't design the house that way for whatever reason. If I ever design a house, I'm gonna make sure I design it with the thought of airing it out. Wendy says, I hate the horrible truth. Same. Deb is here. Hello, Deb. Deb's looking at Marty. Oh, don't we all? That's what I do with most of my time, is look at that cat. Hello, Melanie. Hello, my friends. All right, let's we've given them a few minutes. People are in here. All right. Although I did want to, we had a big package go missing. One of our customers had a package get stolen off their porch, and it was a combined order. So there was a necklace, there was a lucky dip, there was a sterling clasp or something in there. And I am just like, if it had been in separate packages, it'd only been 2 packages, but mine, one of those, I will say that is one of my reasons for not loving. I know everyone likes to save money on shipping, but sometimes if a big package gets lost, I have to replace it, because I replace everybody's packages if they get lost. Because, we discussed it, and people are like, it doesn't seem fair, that we have to take that hit, And I was like, I put myself in the position of, if it were me and I had spent the money, and my package was stolen, what would the ideal best case scenario be? And so that's what I try to do, even though it hurts. it's a painful one. Yeah. All right, my friends, let's flip this camera around. Let's get this show started. Get this ready. It's kind of low tech. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to ask everyone how's it look, because I like to ask it. And I will say we've been having a late thunderstorms happening around us, so we could lose the stream at any time. So if any one of you wants to give us a heads up if we're in need of hitting that refresh, I can't tell because from my end it looks good. So there you go. Let me switch this camera. All right, so let's see. Get that square. Is it working? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Melanie. You look and sound great. Thanks. All right. What's Debbie? Well, I saw Debbie said something needs to say. Oh, that's a good idea. Carol says, I'm thinking we need to put stickers that say package tracked with AirTag and just occasionally put an AirTag in some of them. Maybe. That could be. I know that there are musicians that do that for their stuff when they're tracking on a flight. I've seen that happen. All right. So I'm going to sketch out some ideas. I was working on this. Yeah, AirTags. I was like, AirTags are expensive. Yes, they are. But if someone had a really expensive package and you just shipped them back and forth, I guess it would be fine. But it sounds like logistically, you have to plan it out. So let me explain some of this. So these are some of the things. Y'all saw him Sunday. He's launched live at Cherry Tree. And I carved the original of these. And this is how I did it. So I wanted to do a little bit about that and talk a little bit about it. All right. So I thought this size was really good. I like how this came out. It has what do you call it? Little feet, all the details. Look at his face. So he's been the top seller so far. And what Jen and I are thinking is that, obviously you're not going to keep ordering something or you have to order a minimum of each kind in order to even do this. Like you got to get a minimum of 50 or 100. And so we were trying to figure out which ones would be the best sellers. So far, it's been this one. There's another one. I put it in my pocket. I don't know where it is now. It's an Amazonite, but it's a light blue. He's the one that's the second best seller. I did not ask about these. I forgot to ask. And this is the moon. And it has the pitting on the back, like the craters. But what I was thinking about was making a line. Oh, I do have these. Oh, I do have these necklaces over here I can show. So I wanted to do this retail line. You guys know I do markets, right? Everybody knows that I do art fairs and things. And so here's some of the packaging. I don't know if you remember, but I showed how I did the background paintings for these guys. And I did them on watercolor with gouache. And I've been putting them in this. And this is what it says here. It's handcrafted in Asheville. Family owned and operated, and it says this amulet was created from the finest lead-free pewter. All proceeds go to maintaining the lifestyle of our cat Marty, and then fine print and the rest of the family. So there's all of our ways to track us down. The QR code goes to our website, and then I put a little drawing of Marty that I put on there, and it says, "I do what I want," because that's that's Marty. So that's one of them. Some of these are plain. This is a plain one. And this one I did what you call it? A painted patina. I don't know why that took my brains 5 business days to land. And I did this as a nice background. This one I paint. I don't know if you can see it. But I had these for the Big Crafty, and they sold pretty well. I was happy. Very happy. That was some of them. Here's another. Oh, I'm going to show this one. Look at this one. It's kind of like a heart shape behind it. And so we were thinking that these guys would make good retail what do you call it? Point of purchase sale. Look at this one. This is a painted one. I think the painted ones are my favorite. I charged $30 for the painted ones. There's another one of that painted. Okay, let me see if I have another one with a different look. Some of them I made a lot of because we were doing the bee festival. Oh, here's a different one. This is kind of a watercolor background. And then look at this one. This has the felted background. And I did this felted one during a live not that long ago. I think it was in the wintertime because we were upstairs. If we're downstairs, it's summertime because it's too hot to work upstairs. There's no airflow up there, so it's like an oven. Okay, I think that might be all of the big ones. Yes, that's all I see. I thought I had another one, but I guess I don't. I have one more. I don't see it. All right. Oh, thank you, Karen. Cecilia says, I want some packaging. Oh, and Karen says, I love that drawing of Marty. Thank you. All right, so this is one that I have been working on, and I think of this as like, I'm thinking that these are like lucky amulets or protective amulets. And what would I want if I could have anything I wanted, which in this case I can because I'm the one carving it. But of course, you have to work within the parameter of what can be actually made. So you can't make things that are really too skinny in this part because they can break. So here's what I was thinking, if you can visualize it. Maybe more cord, but I'm just looking at it right now just to get the feel of it. To hang here so the wings aren't in the way. Oh, I hope your granddaughter likes it, Wendy. Wendy got one of my painted pendants. So there you can see a little bit of a heart happening. I was just testing it out. And a star. So the good part about working this way is that you can add more clay to your master. So this is considered the master. So I'm going to get nice cord, like that cord I found is actually made in the US. I was happy. It's like a paracord company that can do whatever kind of colorway you want to do. And I think I like the idea of it being kind of muted. So this one, I actually threw away the first one I made because the first one I did had the hole was higher up. And then I was like, what am I thinking about? If I put it like this, then it's centered. And that's some of the things you have to think about, because if it's centered, it's going to flip. It's going to flip all day long. And so I was like, what if there was a little fat frog on one side of the lily pad, because this is going to be a lily pad, and on the other side, when it flipped, and it'll be a water lily. And so I was kind of thinking, let's see, like this look. So it'd have like little lines, the veining, and then the frog. So here's where the string goes. And the bloom, I could do it where it blooms outward, like it's a really open up flower. Just like that. And maybe those the pod in the middle, you know, that lotus thing in the middle. Pod. That's okay. And then when it flips, it has like a little frog. Maybe I'll make it, see, the confusing part is flipping it so that it will flip in the right direction. So you have to test it. That's why I always have thread or cord out so I can test how something is going to go. And I'll carry it around and use it for a while before I go ahead and make it. Vicki said, so these are wax carvings to start. Actually, Vicki, this is polymer clay. And so that's this one right here. I didn't put the thing on it, but I'm going to show that right now. And then this is another one. And I'm still considering, and you know what? Here's the crazy thing, is I have to finish these tonight. And I'm a little bit scared because I don't know if Jen leaves for her big adventure on Friday. And so she goes and meets with all the stone carvers, and she meets with the the people that now it's like I'm like so frazzled that it's my words are having difficulty. So this is the polymer clay. I mixed white. I had two small blocks. One was white, one was blue. And I conditioned it. Now, if you don't condition your clay, it's kind of like epoxy putty, if you've ever used epoxy putty. And if you haven't, it's a kind of a clay that you have two parts, which in this case it was two parts. And I could clearly see when it was conditioned because I have a uniform color. Now, if you don't have a uniform color, you know that it's not going to be mixed. Now, some folks that work with polymer clay are going to be like, look at all that air she's introducing into the clay. That is 100% true. But I'm carving it. And so it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. And the reason it's different is because I guess it's called par baking. I don't know what the actual word for it. I'm just baking it in parts. I was actually considering doing this one, and I'm going to ask Jen what she thinks, but there's like a million little turtles on the internet for pendants. And so I was like, is one more going to really be a benefit? Because it's pretty labor intensive and time consuming to go through the rigmarole of making these. You know, why make it if there's already so many? So I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. You guys let me know what your thoughts are on it. But I'm not sure. I just don't know what I'm going to do with it. So the first step is to make a base. So what I did was I did a base of this and baked it. And I did this shape that you're looking at. And I just put it on, it's kind of low tech. I put it on one of my tools and then baked it. And now what I'm going to do is I can either choose to carve it, or I can do another round of clay and I can add to it. So as per my drawing, I'm going to refer to that. Put that down here. I'm going to try and get that on there. So what I'll do is I'll start from the one side that I think I'll start on this side. Oh, I see we have more folks show up. Hello, friends. Hello, Carolyn. I'm going to add a little bit. So this is kind of a forgiving way to work. And we'll see if this direction is suitable. All right, so far. And if it flips, we're going to want that. So his face is this way. Let me put the eyes. So it's like here. There's the front of his face so I don't forget. And then when it flips, or even flips this way, the thing should be facing up. Let me see. So really what you want to do, I'm just adding clay to this. And then I'm going to smooth it. And then, I could sculpt it in place, but this is a good way to kind of figure out what I'm doing, if it looks good or not. So when it flips, let's see, flip. And then you get this guy. So the other reason I made this is so that, you know what I always wanted? I wanted a lily pad with a frog on it and with a lily pad. And I didn't make it completely flat all the way across. I made it kind of wavy gravy, kind of like a potato chip. I thought it would be a good, base. I thought it would be a nice base. I tried it first. It was completely flat all the way. We'll see if it makes it more difficult to carve. I'll bet it does make it. So I'll have to probably go in and fix a little bit of that and make it less pronounced. You can never tell what's going to work good and what's not. You never know. Greg made these tools for me. They are made out of steel rod that's kind of a square rod, and the techniques that you use with this are called blacksmithing. It's a blacksmithing type of tool making. This is not silversmithing, because this is considered steel, or it's not considered, it is steel. And maybe what I'll do is find a really good picture of a water lily that I like. Although when we went over to Flat Rock couple weeks ago, and there was this really cute little park. It was so magical. Do you remember that, Azalea? It had like,
Oh yeah.
it was that water lily pond filled with water lilies that were like magenta. Like, I was just trying to think of the exact color. This is a really beautiful color. And maybe this would be pretty in this color. Oh, Carolyn says, I was so happy to learn I have one of your pieces in the Enchanted Forest kit, Cynthia. I love my fairy. Nice. I'm just thinking, would that be a good stone for it? Azalea was like, no, it's the rose quartz should be that.
Well, it's just it would be everybody's immediate assumption.
For this water lily?
Oh no, I was talking about the heart.
Oh.
Yeah, I never said rose quartz for that because I didn't know what you were doing with that.
Oh, I see. So you can see it's pretty forgiving as far as like, you know, you want to smooth everything out. So I'm blending it kind of along the edge. Just blending it in. And the reason you want to do that is if you don't make a nice seal, you'll get little areas that when you go to carve it, there'll be little air bubbles that are kind of hollow, and then you'll have to fill them. It's not a big deal, but it's just kind of a nuisance. So that's a start on this one. And what I'll do is I'm going to smash it down a little bit. And what I'll end up doing is using my other tools to get this. Wait a minute, did I do this? I did this upside down, didn't I? Wait, when it flips. So if he's that way, that's that. Okay, so I did it right. At first, see, this is what's confusing is like when you think about the flipping, it's easy. I did one of these before and I got it backwards. So I'm going to set that down. All right, and now I'm going to carve a little. So what I'm going to do with this is I can put this like this in the oven. Yeah, it's so weird that when you look at it, like once it's attached, that's what it was when I was working on the first one, because this side, see, it's kind of face down. But when you, like if you do it like this, then it's the right side. Melanie says, how long do you have to work with the epoxy clay before it hardens? Now, I'm going to put this in the oven I have a little polymer clay oven, and I put it on. It doesn't have the kind of, what you call it, temperatures on it. It's like 10 years old, so old. And it has like 70%. And oh boy. It's a fresh new blade on there. And so here's some fun parts. This is fun. You guys are going to like this story. So I have these tools that I carve with my rubber stamps and rubber, but they also happen to work really well with polymer clay once this has been baked. And I only do it for 10 minutes, so it's not baked hard. I could actually break this in half. If I had another piece, I could show you how easy it is. Oh, I do. I have one. I put it in this. I'm not going to dig it out. I threw it away already, but I thought maybe it was on the top. So I can easily scratch. See, I have that already kind of scratched in. And you can go in and very gently. And this is like carving soap. It's so easy to carve. Let's see that. And you'll probably notice that my tool, I left these tools out on my bench out in the garage. And a lot of times we open the door and sometimes it gets damp down there when it rains. And I just leave my tools out like a crazy person. I should put something on there to keep it from happening. But it's easy to sharpen them. I'll just have to do that when I'm done with this. I didn't notice it until just now. So, seen under very bright light that there's a little bit of rust. But apparently it's sharp enough. That's the sharp part anyway. And you can get in there and make nice little moves, little cut marks. But my favorite thing to use is the X-Acto knife. And this, you have to actually force yourself to go slowly because it's very easy to make these little chocolate shavings. You see how it comes off like chocolate shavings? It's so fun. I can't even describe it. I could, what's fun is just, you know what? You could just take a piece of clay and half bake it and carve it. Because it's so fun to carve. It's kind of like, it reminds me of carving like candle wax or something. But it holds, like you could shine it. So after I'm done carving it, what I can do is fully bake it, and I put it in for a longer amount of time. And the package says to do, I think it says, if I'm not mistaken, this is like something like 275 for every, and a quarter, for every quarter of an inch, you want to do 10 minutes. And so I'll just put like this. It's not very thick, it's about a quarter of an inch, but I'll still put it in there for probably like 15 to 20 minutes. Wendy says, I don't think I've ever sharpened mine. You have to have a special thing to sharpen the tools. And it has this neat wooden like jig that you can use. It's kind of a rounded trough, and you slide the tool through it. It has like a little piece of leather that you can load up with the polishing compound. It's a pretty neat little at the woodworking store. So this bird is kind of one that is sort of like it's sort of like those not Hopi, what's the word? Zuni carvings. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. But when I was growing up, those seemed like it was very popular. They called them stone fetishes. They called them Zuni carvings. I grew up in parts of New Mexico when I was pretty young, and it seemed like all the ladies were wearing these Zuni animal necklaces. My mom had one. They're really cool. The birds were a little bit different. They kind of look like little road runners, and they were usually carved in turquoise and in jasper and coral. So when you see them, there are a bunch of different colors in that kind of palette, like the sort of southwestern palette. Anyway, this is a really fun thing to do, and once you get to the point where you're very happy with the carving, and I have a ways to go, to be honest. I've been fooling with these all day and whittling them down. You can see I got to this point. You can see all those little facet marks, and it's pretty satisfying. I don't know. I keep thinking that this heart, I haven't decided, on how big I want this heart. But the fun thing is if I go too small, which is entirely possible, I just do another layer of raw clay, smash it on there really good, and then put it back into the little oven. And then I can, again, half bake it a little bit. So I bake it at like not the quite full amount of time. It would be like the equivalent of like 100-degree oven, but it's just hot enough to bake it where it's pretty soft. It's still, you can see how soft it is. And it's super easy to carve. And depending on what kind of tools you have, you could carve just about anything. If you can carve it in wood, you can carve it with this. But with the knowledge that it's kind of fragile. It's very fragile. But you can get those real nice facets, which, the funny thing is those facets won't be there because even though I love them, I can never seem to keep them, I always want to file them, and I have different files. I have different ones like this. Oh, Debbie says she has to run. Have a good night, Debbie. But watch this when I do a little bit of the filing. This is a pretty sharp file, by the way. It has a very fine tooth. And so you can get in there with files and round off. Say you don't want those tool marks. Say no more. I can use the edge as a scraper, or as they call it, like a graver. And you can get in there and do text. Text on this is a little bit easier than in wax when it's this. because you can get in there and do some neat shapes with a tool. Like you can get in there. You can see the very edge. I don't know if you can see that, if it'll even get in that tight. Wendy says, I know you're good, but you're making me nervous carving with that sharp knife. Oh, no, you can see there's little, that's where I got pricked the other day. My hands are always getting pricked. It's fine. Tough skin. All right, let's move to the next round. I'm going to put this, I'm going to throw this one in. I might shape it some more and blend it down a little bit more. But once you put it in the oven, you can just bake it, and then you have two choices. You can carve direct with raw clay, or you can bake it and get sharp. That doesn't look sharp, but this, it's getting, be more sharp as I, work with it. And it's fun to get the sizes. This blue, I would love it if I could get turquoise, like this kind of Sleeping Beauty turquoise. Could you imagine if I could find that? This would be one expensive bird. It would be like, I don't know how much it'd be, because they sell this would be the equivalent of Sleeping Beauty turquoise, and they sell that stuff by the gram. So if I want it, I could make it. I have the tools now to carve stones. I didn't go to the Mineral Society today because I was busy working on these guys. I'm working on this Lucky Dip. So I'll tell you a little bit about it. Some of this stuff's been in my collection for a minute, and some of it's from different lives, and some of it's from shows that we've gone to in the last couple months. And I wasn't sure what to do with it. Some of them are just random. Sometimes you buy things, you're not, what am I going to do with it? But I want it, You ever get that feeling? Am I the only one? I must be the only one. Going to a gem show with no idea what I'm doing, just be like, yeah, I want all of it. But I don't. I usually buy with thinking of what I make. And so whatever I'm in that phase of is what I'm going to buy. And so I've been in my treasure necklace phase for a while. Right, I set myself an alarm, and it's hit 3 separate times, so I need to wrap up this part, but it's so fun I can barely stop. All right, I'm going to wrap this up so I can do the other things. All right, so all of this, I'm going to get everything out of the way. Wendy says the colors of the cheaper turquoise could be cool with that bird. Even cheap turquoise, I don't know. The cheaper turquoise is still not a cheap date. I was going to make a necklace. I want to make a necklace with these guys. I still did not. Oh, I know what happened to that blue one. I went to photograph it. That's right. The Amazonite frog. And I was making, on Sunday night, I got so frustrated trying to get that French wire. This is what I love about using a silicone mat, is this right here. This is what I love about it. And then I have my trash bag right next to, I hang it right off the edge of my light. And it's like it didn't even happen except for a couple spots. Okay, so let's see what this is. So we start putting this together. This is so heavy. Start putting this together. You guys see all the mosquito bites. We went to our friend's house the other night, and I got riddled, even though no part of my skin except for my face was showing. But how is that happening? So this blend is all like smooth pebble, and one thing is carved. This is carved. It's labradorite, and then this is that larcovite. Isn't that pretty? So what you're seeing is things from previous kits and from my personal collection. This is called Ocean Jasper or Aquaterra jasper. And it has these beautiful, like, they call it that because it has this beautiful tone range that's like the ocean and like beachy look. And then this is a different type of jasper, different kinds. I found these a while ago. Look at these. This is kyanite. Isn't that pretty? I love them. They're a little darker than my usual pick, but you know what? They reminded me of sapphires, but without the hefty price tag. So I was like, I think that would just be perfect to throw in there. So we'll put that in the mix. Yeah, Wendy says big ends. Yeah, this one has, let's take a look and see what all's in here. So what's happening? Let's do a slice of life here. Serpentine, right here, these little green ones, it's serpentine. There is some apatite. This is, that looks like, what is that? It's like a draw blank. Some of these ones that are more muted, that might be more of that aqua, like this is one of it. It's kind of an aqua color. Oh, this is ruby and zozite. It's pretty interesting. What else do I have in here? Some of these nugs. Oh, this is from a Tucson. We got these in Tucson for the kit that we did. These were delicious. Loved that. They have that kind of pool of light feeling. What else is in there? Oh, I got this. This is African turquoise. These guys, a couple different sizes of that. This looks like green. They call it common green opal. And I thought for a long time that this wasn't legit. And turns out, when I was at the Mineral Society, it's actually, when they say it's common, it's, it's not difficult to find. It comes in these avocado colors. It's not actually dyed. I thought for years that it was like not real. But it is real. And I carved some of it. Hey, can you get that box over there on on the stairway with all my stone carving stuff? And this is, what do they call red tiger eye? I can't remember the name of it. It's not Hawkeye. That's silver. No, it's in a small.
There's only one box here.
No, there's a box that's like a takeout container. Yeah, there it is. I don't remember the name. If anyone remembers offhand what red tiger eye looks, what's the name of it? Besides red tiger eye, this is what I take with me to my gem cutting. So this was part of that. This is the green opal. Isn't that crazy that that's natural? It looks like a solidified avocado. But that's natural. And here's a stone. And I thought it was the same thing, but this one had a little bit of pink in it. That's where I'm going to drill that black Sharpie. It's really cool and easy. Like I didn't drill that one yet, but I drilled a bunch of them. Here's some of that agate I was talking about. It's a really cool, you know what? I don't remember the name of the agate that this came from. It's from Montana. And the gal that I got it from, she was like, why'd you get rid of all the brown? And so the brown part kind of identifies it, to tell it from other different stones. But it looks like we froze up there. Oh, there we are. For a second it froze and I was afraid. So I've been taking that lapidary class and it's been making it where I've been shaping stones and it's been a lot of fun. So it's only made it where my passion for these rocks is now tenfold. If that wasn't a lot before. So this lucky dip is on our website. We put it on there and we measured out that it would be 20 some dips, but I didn't even finish it. There might be a few more. So I have these little cute little pyrite nugs. Got those a while ago. I don't remember where. They look like they're well drilled though. Toss those in the bucket. Here's some more of that green opal I was telling you about. And it comes in different shades. I didn't know this, but it's when they say it's pretty common, it's found all over. That's why they call it common. But I think the most of it comes from Brazil. Oh, this is fun. This is, I don't know how many of these are in there, but I found some really good. This was in another kit we did a couple years ago. There was some more of this really beautiful quality amethyst. It's in there. And these are all little shapes of, let me see what that is. No, I thought maybe it might have been ruby. That's tourmaline. All that's tourmaline right there. Tourmaline nugs, different colors of tourmaline. We'll throw those in the box. And some more ocean jasper. Found that. It's very smooth. These are a little bit smaller, but they have a nice smooth color. I got these ages ago. They have, some of it when you find it, they're a little on the more pale side. The whole strand is a little pale. But I found that this had a nice range where you get a little bit of that weird red playing through it. It's so satisfying. I love doing that. Gotta keep my lids together because that's really annoying when the lids don't match up. Here's some hessonite. Man, I've had these for years. So this hessonite, let's check it out. There's some of that. Look at the variation in color. It's so fun that one stone can have so many different range of color. Not quite as much as, say, like tourmaline can have all the rainbow, but this has a pretty satisfying blend. We'll throw those in there. You can see they're so dusty, my tins. So I store a lot of my beads in this, and the way this all came about is a bunch of them lost the lids because it doesn't take much for these to pop off. And it happened to my crochet kit, and I was just like, oh well, I guess that's how we're gonna have to live now. And Joanne was like, hey, you could always scoop that, and I was like, yeah, maybe. And another person was like, yeah, you could scoop that. We had Terry mention it. A couple people mentioned it, but it didn't occur to me that I could weigh it. So I didn't weigh this one because these aren't super expensive beads to begin with. These are probably average price, but they're priced very well at $40 for the 10. Before I drop that in there, it's some really pretty light red garnet. Throw that in. It's like spice, like paprika, the paprika spice. The spice must flow. I read those books, the Dune books, but watching the show, they have that new show.
The movies?
Yeah, I guess, they really dragged it out. But, you know what? I wasn't really in love like I thought I would be. This is so satisfying, y'all. I love doing this part. Actually, my favorite part is doing this. This is the favorite part right here. Oh, and then last but not least, I forgot. I got this strand from my friend Kia. Y'all remember Kia? She used to do the To Be True Blue show out in Tucson. Let's check the facts here. So you know what? I got took a couple times with rubies when I got them home. But now I know that they fluoresce, and it's the chromium, the presence of chromium, that makes real ruby do this. See, pink or whatever, garnet will not do it. This will. Let's see. So let's throw that in there. That will be a nice little extra flavor to our concoction here today. This, we're calling it the Tide Pool dip because, you know what kind of reminds me of the tide pool? All right, what is all this other stuff on here? I can hardly see what's happening. What's all this stuff on here, Zolia?
What do you mean all this stuff?
On the chat, there's too many things to see.
That's not the chat.
Oh, sorry.
That's the QR code so people can see the kit.
Nice. Okay, let's stir the pot. So this is a pretty nice blend of herbs and spices. Let me get in there with this. It totally reminds me, like this would be the coral. Like this is like coral. And then like this is the tentacle of a sea anemone. Anyway, I was hoping I would have time. I don't know if I'll have time, but I wanted to make a necklace to match this. And I think that this would go well, or the newest, like we're working on a mala kit, but right now it's not finished. You know, it needs a little more time. Like this has been sitting in my room for a while, waiting for me to get all the components. And I found some of these. This is what I thought. Like I love these. This is agate that comes from Mexico, and I love it. Got to mix the rubies in there. Get all the way down to the bottom. Scoop it up. Okay, where's my stuff? Here we go.
You put them all away before?
I put them in this bag. And I think I will scoop this for a few minutes. Carolyn says, I want to scoop when I get enough money, okay? Okay. So I'm filling these up. We had problems with these, like not completely, the lid was not closing. So I'll tap it and try to skim it so that the lids can close. So that looks like that one will close. And they're all a little bit different. That's what makes this kind of fun. You don't know what you're going to get. Are you going to get some with more of the, looks like this one has a good scoop right there. Try to mix the sizes so that, you know, you would get a good amount for $45. Let's close one so you can see the side view. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Some of these beads have been in my collection for like forever. These haven't. That's pretty new. I got that in Tucson not that long ago. And this is not that old. But some of it, the Mexican fire opal, you can barely find that anymore. Yeah, so that for $45, come on. A good variety. And you know, it already kind of has, I feel like, they're a good looking colorway. Yeah, look at that in there. Nice. Azalea and I found some Larimar rounds from our friend. And we were just like, how are we going to do this? Because people love it. But
Larimar and ruby in the same bucket.
In the same bucket. I was trying to make it so that was even Steven. Where's the lid? I keep running out of lids. Yeah, the lid. Carolyn says, that's a wonderful deal. Thank you. I'm trying. You know, I'm trying to raise money to go fix my floor. That's always the thing. There's always something. Little do they tell you with home ownership that that's how it is. Yeah, look at that. That is some good right here. This is some really nice quality amber. Yeah, to get all this range of color, this one would be a good one to give to somebody that, say let's put some smalls in there so that fits in there. Wendy says, I bet all the holes are big. You know, most of them should be. Unless they're really old. Look at that one for the pink, that pink opal. Yeah. And then look at that one. Yeah. That must be an old one. You can see that old tourmaline. Yeah, it's got a small hole. Some of the old stuff has smaller holes. I will say that for sure. Yeah, this is a fun one. I think we've been going through my bead collection to try and raise money to get the floor fixed. And while we wait for the contractor to get back to us, we're just going to save money and get that so that it's, you know, it's on my wish list of fixing, because I really would love to have my dishwasher. You don't ever realize like how much you kind of depend on something, especially when you have kids. Carol says, I would pay $45 just to put my hands in there.
Dang.
Listen, you don't have to pay $45. You just get $45 and get yourself one of these, and then you can put some Softlex in your bag and a clasp and make, I would say, with ease, 2 necklaces. That's like 2 strands. You know, you go to the bead store, you go in there and you're like, I would like 1 strand of agate. Maybe the agate's probably like, I don't know, $15, $18. The labradorite probably in the 12, 15 range. These guys. So all that, you get a good mix. You didn't have to, I mean, to get half of it, you'd pay $45. Not half, maybe 3 strands. I think I would average it out at 3 strands. So yeah, that is particularly flashy blue. So Jen sent me a picture of the new arrival of the
The frog and
the
blue
frog
labradorite.
and the blue labradorite, and she was like, she sent me a video and it was like really flashy. This is pretty flashy too. We need to get some of these lids out. Yeah, I feel like this one I thought would work well with this. And I wanted to make a necklace where I use Softlex on a long, almost like a mala, but imagine it where it's like this guy, you know, maybe it's like with sections either knotted or I thought, hey, you know, it'd be really cool. Wire wrapped. Let me see. What else do I have over here? And the clasp, the perfect clasp for this, I think, would be this. Or this. What do you think? This is a new one. I keep forgetting I made it. But this has been, I've been loving it on my necklaces. I put a little bit of a finish on this because I was going to paint it to give it an antique look. That's that new button. It's very nice and petite. And I try to get it as thin as possible. Because you know I hate it when the clasp is super heavy and it keeps falling to the front. That doesn't happen with this clasp, fortunately. So I think these two would look really good with this one. Or right here, you know, with the moon. Let's see. Or like, I don't know, maybe these guys. You know how I like to do the asymmetrical. So if you imagine, if you were to make a necklace, you get easily, with one of these, you could easily make a necklace. And I would venture to say 2 at minimum. So that's what we've been doing, is working on this kit. It's been really good, really fun. I'm going to top that one with some of the ones from the bottom. I think this came out pretty good. So that, how many do I have there? 1, 2. Yeah, I think we topped this one out at 20 or so. And that's what's in this box. We counted it out. And so when this one's done, we're just going to move on. So just so you know, sometimes if one of these dips run out, we'll probably make a different style, but the beads, they can be kind of difficult to source. Like this is chrysocolla that I got from, man, this was stuff from, I don't know if you guys remember Marilyn Burke. She was out of Seattle area. She's passed away since then, but she had some of the nicest beads you've ever seen. Great quality. I got a strand of Peruvian opal from her. That's still like some of my all-time favorite beads that I got. And that's from her collection. And they're all a little bit different. They were hand carved. I put the rest of the strand. That was on my necklace, and I cut it up and put it in there. You know, sometimes hanging on to things from years ago, it felt kind of good to just throw them in. And I think it added to this collection. Morphing Design says, yes, she says, am I correct that we ordered this from the website, not by asking from here? Yeah, I think that that's how that's going. Is we're putting them on the website for now. Some of them, when we have a little bit less, it's a little bit faster to go with the scooping if someone claims a scoop. But what we'll do is when we go through the website, I've already pre-done these, and I'll just put a sticker on the bottom of them to see who gets them. They're not all going to be the same.
They're not going to get stickers. Why would there be? Yeah, they would just. They're on the website.
No, there's that chocolate moonstone. I forgot. There's also chocolate moonstone in there. I just saw some, and it's a really pretty color. Yeah, this is not. I don't think that this one. I think this is a very good value. You get your money's worth with this one easily. Especially, if you want to get a gift for someone, you want to cheer up a bead friend. $45 is pretty good. Pretty good. Like I'd send that to my friend Diane. Like, Diane, you want a little bead snack? This would be a good bead snack for her. Carolyn says, I would space those beautiful stones out with something or crochet. I think that these would be good with, if you had, like, check this out. I've been saving these for a minute. I get these from Africa or African Village. That's the word I'm looking for. And they're actually records. And I kind of thought, I have some in a different colorway. They're like all black or something. They're like dark brown or black. I can't remember. But something like between, like, you have a section, would be kind of cool. You know what I'm getting at? Like something very small right in between. Actually, what would be the best is something like seed beads that are faceted, like a faceted, maybe in like a bronze or something. I think Kate calls them, what are those ones she uses all the time? I can't think the name. Y'all know that she has those little cornerless cubes. I can't think the name of them. Morphing Design says, yes, space them out so they can be seen or as dangles or groupings. Yeah, they have a kind of a look like little grapes. And some of them already feel like tide pool. That's why we called it that, because it definitely has that sort of feeling of like the ocean. Azalea and I were both like, man, do we need to soak neck deep in the sea?
Yes.
That would be wonderful right about now. Oh, there's some of that Mexican fire opal. Yeah, Wendy says, love bead snacks as much as Marty loves churro. Oh, yes. Yeah, that'd be a great little gift if you got that. Who wouldn't want that? Oh, so Azalea and I were talking about the contest with the bead caps. So what I thought...
I forgot about that. That's been a long time.
I didn't forget. Listen, I didn't forget that. And Anne Gardan sent me a message, and she says, I would be willing to do a nice, like a giveaway. And that was really generous of Anne to say that. But I'm already putting in, when it comes time, I'm going to do a little pair of sticks, like the cast sticks in Shibuichi. So that's coming up soon. So everybody should, by now, have some of their stuff within next week, because I've been filling orders like crazy. And so everybody should very soon be caught up and can then be ready to participate and then post. I'll post the rules here shortly. I have to think of how I'm going to word it, because you know what? I don't want to be the one that chooses the winner. I want y'all to choose. Morphing Design says, what contest? So we had a contest we're going to run here soon, very soon. I wanted to see what everybody would make with their bead caps from our friend Anne Gardan. She's a friend of ours that lives, where's her home? It's in the upper east end of the country. And we met years and years and years ago at the To Be True Blue. Actually, I think we met at the Best Bead show, if I'm not mistaken. And she did glass when I first met her, torch fired glass. And it was really cool to, be neighbors with her. And we would just sit there and talk whenever it got slow. And we would buy each other's work. And I've used her things in earrings. And look at this piece of pink opal right there. That's juicy. That's a particularly good one. Oh, Wendy says, I'm signing up for the Shibuichi short twig springs when you get them. That's going to be the prize. So I don't have any over here because I sold all the ones. I was looking around to see if I had any. I might have them over here on my necklace. Yeah, I do. So I made twig pieces. So this is the necklace that was the inspiration. And so far I've been selling all the components from my necklace. Like I made these specific for it, like this, all these little pieces. And so not that long ago, maybe a month ago, I did a kit with Anne. Well, this was actually one of them. This was doctored up to look more like coral. But in the kit was this stick and some caps, or maybe it was sold separately. I don't remember what was the gist of it. But anyway, you could use either, the thing was to use the caps. So anyway, when we start posting pictures of what people are making, that'll be when we do the contest. So I'm going to make a post and everyone can post their pictures underneath my post, if that makes sense. Yeah, whichever one, it doesn't matter as far as what other things. You just need to use the caps. And let me see if I have the caps over here. There's a big pile of them for my own self. What I do with it. Right, so here I can't find my sample that I started on. It's in one of my. I got all these trays. So yeah, look at that. So these are the ones from our friend Anne. She messaged me earlier talking about this. So this is what we were talking about. Now, they're not super duper ultra cheap. So, we did it in kind of pairs and groupings. So depending on which ones you got, you could either make earrings or you could make a full necklace. And what we'll do is everyone post their picture under my contest post or in the group, however you want to do it. And then we'll vote and see who gets the prize. And the prize will be some of those sticks that I just showed. Oh, Wendy, it's even more gorgeous up close. Thank you. That's my fanciest, most prized necklace I've ever made. I'm almost, I'm getting to the finish line and it's a little bit scary. So, how it is. All right, I'm going to finish this up later. I've got probably another 10 to go, but I can feel my throat getting hoarse. So I'm going to wrap it up. And I think on Sunday, I'm going to work with this and this. And that will be fun to see what we'll do. I'll think about all the comments that I saw today. I saw several people have really good ideas for this. And I would love to use this piece with this blend. And I'm thinking soft flex or knotting. I'm going to think about it. You can drop a comment what you want to see. If you would rather see something with seed beads, or if you would rather see a knotted project, or something that is more like this angle of wire wrap. Some folks like a wire wrap, And I was working on this one. It was going to be a bracelet, but I have two or three more links to go. But with something like wire wrap stones might be a cool, I don't know. Whatever the challenge is, I will accept it. So you guys want to drop me some comments and let me know what you would like to see this Sunday for this kit right here and this pendant. That's my design challenge. So I will take that under advisement. Wire wrap, knotting, or let's see, there's soft flex. What other ways can you knot or not knot? I guess there's wrapping, like thread wrapping. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that, where you take a bead and you wrap it in fabric and then go around it. Although that's when you have wooden beads. This is not the project for wooden beads. So anyway, that's the goal for Sunday, and maybe some other little fun things. Yeah, the twig. Oh, Melanie says I need the twigs to come back in stock. I need like 4 to 6 of them. What metal, Melanie? What metal are you thinking? Are you thinking sterling or are you thinking shibuichi? That's what the question I want to know. I'm going to do one more while you think about it, so then I know. Maybe we'll have a casting. We'll do a casting here soon. Yeah, this came out really good. All that cheddar. I like these, but I will admit that my favorites are the faceted. I had a long love affair with pebbles. The majority of my adult artist life has been this type of bead, has been my all-time favorite. And only within the last 10 years, I'd say that I really get mostly into faceting. So anyway, I keep saying I'm going to wrap it up. All right. Ray says, I would love to buy several of the twigs as well. What material, y'all? What material? Let me know.
Probably Shibu.
Shibu?
Oh,
okay. I didn't know. I thought we made them in silver,
we
too.
did very briefly, but mostly Shibu.
Wendy says, I feel like the shibuichi would look more natural. That is true. Melanie, would you like shibuichi or sterling?
Sterling would be a lot more.
Sterling will be a lot more money. Remember, I think they were like $20-something, but that was with...
that was before.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. And, a lot of times we have to charge market price for whatever. So.
Well, we got it because we'd have to pay, we have to pay them amount for the, for the silver.
Oh, and Melanie says yes on the shibuichi, so that's what we'll do. I will start making some waxes, and we'll start doctoring them up. All right, my friends. I'm going to flip this camera around. But first, I'm going to do this. Let's see if he notices. Let's see if this cat, he didn't even notice. Shibu.
He's sleeping hard.
I was like, what's that hanging out? And oh, that's my straw. It's like, how is my straw in that frame? Weird. All right, how do I get rid of this thing here? How do I take that thing off?
You go to QR code and then you disable it.
Oh.
And then you go back to chat.
Come here, dear. Let's see if he notices this cat. Oh, the one with a little cutie on it as well as the shorter one. I forgot. Yeah, I did make one with a little lizard on it. He, in a dead of sleep, he's like, I'm ready, Mama. I'm ready. Oh, his feet are clinging on. That's so cute. Those footies. Ray says, I don't know what Shibu is. Shibuichi is a metal that is from ancient Japan. It is an alloy that is made from copper and silver, and it's very hard. It's so hard because the copper content. But we can make them in both. I think Shibuichi is a little bit cheaper because the metal content's it's less silver. Wendy says, I feel like my next cat will be another calico, and I'm going to name her Shibuichi. And yell out, Shibu, what'd I tell you? What'd I tell you, Marty? Oh. He wants some cat chocolate. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate all of your likes and shares and comments, all that good free stuff that keeps our business name in the realm of, working. So thank you so much for when you share it with your friends and you tell people about us. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Keeps food on the table. Keeps this guy fed. He's like, don't comment on my food intake. You don't want to talk about it. All right. We are going to wrap it up and we will see you again on, what's today? Today's Wednesday. I was like, I'll see you again on next Wednesday. Today's Wednesday already. So we'll see you on Sunday. That is correct. We will see you all, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and that you do something creative. Let's see it in the group. Go ahead and show us some pictures. All right, my friends? Thank you so much. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Good night.